All right, welcome back, everyone. I am the Dungeon Master, and today we are rejoining Dragons of the Frozen Seas. And last time they had encountered some Arctic aurochs. It's basically a big prehistoric cow of sorts. And you know, lacking food and needing many more calories than normal to stave off the ever increasingly low temperatures, um, they decided to take advantage of any food they could find and had slaughtered the aurochs. And we're kind of at a point where they're going to decide, what they do next. Obviously, butchering the aurochs would, come into play here, so they're probably going to end up taking a long rest, and we'll kind of pick up with them from there. What they intend to do now that they have these two dead mammoth cows on their hands. And so, yeah, they just found this Norori, uh, you know, Genesai, a basically elemental humanoid. And, oh, the other one escaped? That's right. You're right. And so, yeah, you guys, um, have got to get to know it. It appears to be a male, but it's hard to tell. And of course, alongside it, as always, is its heavily muscled, um, icy Eidolon. And have you come up with a name for your Eidolon yet?
North. His name
North.
is North.
Excellent. Let me go ahead and get that entered in so that we can stop calling him generic Eidolon. Excellent. All right. And so, as you guys are preparing the Auroch and Kultanin performs the traditional hunters rituals that are said and performed over the body of anything um, that you kill that like is respected as part of the greater um, circle and cycle of life, to the point where you know like, for example, you wouldn't necessarily worry about every single bee that you kill or swat away, but like the mighty auroch is an animal that they both have domesticated to some point. Well, not your people, the Angel Grundians, so much, but to the south, the Viking people, they have the fragile Eshamirs have domesticated some of the southern aurochs. They're not quite as woolly and white as as these Arctic aurochs are, but they are pretty impressive nonetheless. And um, so they're just a more respected animal. And so like if you killed a bear or anything that is a part of the greater circle, basically, they are respected to the point where if you have to kill one for food or self-defense or whatever, there's certain um, chants and like markings that you make on yourself with their blood and stuff like that. And so Coltanin would get in there and dip his hand into the warm blood of the Arctic Auroch and make a mark on himself, and then like one by one, uh, first of course would be Scotty, the highest honor always would go to either a whoever was like the bravest warrior out there, if somebody was like clearly above the rest when it came to the bravery and leadership, etc. But also being his daughter, of course, has some pull in the tribe. And so unless you specifically make sure that you line up first, he's not going to seek you out so as not to be accused of showing favor to his daughter just because she's his daughter. But I mean, you were in there with your spear, poking some Auroch to death. You were a brave warrior and you deserve this honor. And so, are you going to step up and be the first one to receive the marking from your father?
No, no, Scotty will not. She's modest and will allow other people to do that.
Ooh. So, now that you guys have been with them for some time, we're going to go ahead and name one of the Vikings, and um, his name is Ivan, and he has been seeking to replace your father, knowing that you have no brothers available.
Oh, is that so?
Yeah, I mean, you know of this because you are very perceptive, but like your father has no idea. He
Got it.
eh,
Got it.
you know,
Ivan can get his honors, but he'll likely suffer some accident or be at the very front of the spearhead at some point.
oh, excuse me, Scotty. Let me get in front here. And cool Tannen.
She has no objection at this point. She's
Yeah,
learned now.
yeah, yeah. And so Ivan steps up and cool Tannen gives him the mark, and then everybody else just kind of falls into line. They're like, okay, let's kind of do this. And then so they all like cycle through. Scotty, do you just take like a natural position? Do you wait till the end? Like what's your and Jalivi, I mean, you know, you would naturally know that this is part of your culture and that you're expected to line up too, but of course you don't have to, and you're probably pretty used to lining up last being so small and frail.
Scotty will come in just after Jilliby.
As this is happening, Nori is sitting on top of North and is just sort of creating ice crystals as he waits patiently.
Yeah, well, here in this freezing, no, northern continent, you still find it just a tad warm. So you sit there and create a little ice crystal fan, and you wave it about at yourself, kind of fanning yourself off, and you can feel the cool air, and it feels quite refreshing as you sit there waving this icy fan at yourself.
Why is this place so hot? He mumbles to himself.
Yeah. Okay, so Jalivi, where are you going to line up? Are you going to wait till the end as you always do, or are you going to, you know, take a firmer stance and grab life by the horns? That isn't what
I'm
I was gonna
gonna
say.
I'm gonna kind of put myself um kind of in the middle before the rest of the Vikings, but I guess before the rest of the Vikings.
All right,
But
so as you go to line up, one of the Vikings is already like stepping into that place and making it to where there's not enough room. Do you step behind him or do you push him aside and take your place that you were about to take?
Um, I think I will, knowing that since I'm
Can
part of the royal
can
family.
Scotty deliver a nice little check to let Jillivy in from just nearby?
Well, that's the other option is I want Jalivy to have a chance to have an immediate reaction because she was the one who was just about to step there, so Scotty would have just seen it. So if Jalivy just like shoulders him out of the way and keeps taking her spot, that's one thing. But if she stops and hesitates, then absolutely, Scotty, you have an opportunity to, do
No,
whatever.
I'm gonna try and shoulder my way because I feel like, I'm royal blood too, so, I feel like I should get just at least a medium of respect,
Yeah.
especially since the other Viking went up front. Because in my mind, they're looking to mutiny.
Well, I mean, it's not quite that bad. Like he's not planning to like kill Kultanin because like nobody thinks they can kill Kultanin, but like he wants to be next in line. He's smart. He knows how to maneuver and use his positioning and all of that, and so he was really quick to get up there to get the first honor because it's like Mark Anthony to Caesar. It's good to be the right hand man, and that's Ivan has put himself there. He's a brave and honorable warrior. But
I'm
he.
not trying to get in front of Ivan. I'm trying to get before the rest of the Vikings.
Oh yeah, no, I'm just saying like it's not quite mutiny time or anything like that. Just a man who sees an opportunity and knows how to take advantage of it.
Okay,
So yeah,
but yeah,
go ahead and roll yourself a strength check. So that would be right under ability checks when you click on your token. Ooh, this guy stood his ground. He's not gonna let you just shoulder him out of the way.
yeah, I gotta adjust my uh thing. Hang on.
Okay. Do you want me to roll it for you, or are you gonna be okay in a second?
I'll be okay in a second.
No problem.
And this is about where Scotty would like to assist her.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. If you kind of step in, I will go ahead and give him a -2 to his roll,
What are my abilities?
so it'll only be a 13. So yeah, okay. Click on
I
Jalivy
got it.
and then ability checks and then strength, and it's only a 13 now. He's getting a -2 because Scotty is assisting. Not in any major way. She just
Well,
like gave him the stink eye a little bit. But now,
All all she can really do now is block so that no one else goes, and Jillivy gets to go next, and then
yeah,
she'll follow.
but because it was a critical fail on the strength check, and we're not talking about combat here. Nobody's throwing punches, and I'm not doing a critical fail in combat where it's like, oh, you slip and fall and all of that. This is just role playing and all of that. So I'm going to go ahead and rule that as you went to shoulder him, you slipped on the ice before you ever made contact, and you just kind of fall. And Scotty, not to speak for your character, but I assume you would help her up and, like you said, take the next place in
Yes,
line.
of course.
Right.
And presumably that brave Viking warrior would give her the hand up too.
Oh, Ivan, after he already got his mark, yeah, he would circle around, and in fact, as he moves to give Jalivia a hand up. He gives that dude the shoulder check, and I'm not even gonna roll nothing because they're not trying to do anything. But like, he makes sure he knows, like, I don't know what just happened here. All I know is that like I felt some tension and turned around and Jalivi's on her butt. So I don't like the way you're smirking. And he just gave him like a hard shoulder bump. So, yeah, now you guys line up and everybody takes their marking, and as Cool Tannen gives you the marking, Jalivi, not only is he surprised to see you not at the rear, he kind of pulls you in and says, "I must speak with you," in a low, rumbling, thunderous tone. Like, try to try to picture like James Earl Jones instead of my nasally Tom Petty, voice. he he talks in that low, deep uh oh man, I'm gonna totally space on his name, but that
Mufasa in the skies and that trance
yeah,
like
yeah. Just thunder and low tones as he just says in the bassiest voice you've heard that he needs to speak with you.
right. I nod in acknowledgement and set aside for everybody to finish getting their marks.
Yeah, and so then we finish up with that, except for Ulf and Eric. You've been with the party long enough and been accepted, as like members of this party. So, seeing everybody else line up, what do you boys do?
Eric has no interest in lining up to receive a mark. It's basically glorifying the killing of a animal in nature, and he has no interest in participating in the ritual that glorifies the killing of them.
Okay.
And Norori is just not interested. He's just looking at the group and just.
Yeah, you're a little too new yet. Like they wouldn't know what to do if you lined up anyway. Ulf?
I'm hanging out with Eric and Vitor.
Yeah. So, you probably already have a small fire going, getting your pot out, melting some snow, so.
Snow, coffee, cooking, whatever.
Yeah. So, everybody finishes up, starts butchering the animal, makes shelter. Uh, here we are, the ability to take a long rest, but, like, do we?
No, are we in a hurry to get where we're going?
Well, it's going to take several hours to prepare and butcher this auroch to begin with. So you're already halfway to a long rest just, from working on the auroch.
Well, we may as well set up camp and take a long rest then.
Yeah. So everybody's got to kind of like take turns like helping with various parts of it, and like you all tackle like the skinning of it right away so that the butchering of it can be done, as a two-man job in shifts. So everybody kind of like takes their time doing it, and Kultanen, he takes and chops the head off, and he takes the skull, the upper part of it, and he starts spreading various things on it after scraping all of the meat out and burning the rest of the meat out on the fire and just getting everything, like the skull is now burned down to just a skull and the horns, and he starts like preparing it and everything, and you guys don't know what he's doing because none of you were like old enough or born even when he was a young man and he killed that mighty elk and made the helmet out of it. But he's gonna make a helmet out of this Aurochs' skull, and when he's done in a few days' time, he's going to give it to Ivan as a trophy.
Okay. So do we need to roll for however much meat we're gonna pick, and then I'll go talk to Katannin.
Yeah,
Yes, lots of hard work and building shelters and slaughtering beasts.
yeah. So the shelter we're not going to roll for, but when it comes to getting the Auroch prepared and everything, it's less about how much meat you can get as much as it's about how much meat can you carry and like store, because even though like some of it gets like frozen, um it's still got enough time to like go bad on the inside if it freezes too quickly on the outside. I'm not sure how the science on
Freezer
that
burn.
works. Yeah, I'm
The
not sure
hard
how
part
this.
is to keep it from freezing.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Like, I'm gonna admit I'm not 100% on everything. I just know that it's not like, oh, we're all good here. Yeah. So,
Yeah, it's a lot of work. Hard to do.
right. So, go ahead and roll for survival. Whoever like is taking the lead on butchering this Auroch, and whoever wants to aid them, you just have to roll a survival check above a 12, and you'll be giving them a +2 to their roll.
Eric will
We're all
participate.
going to be helping.
I'm doing it.
And
Already done.
and honestly, he's not. My character's not really interested in warm blood.
Yeah, you've
That's
you've never eaten anything like fleshy meat like this. Like that's not how you guys live on the plane of ice. Uh so you guys, the rest of you, unless somebody can roll a critical success to offset what Eric just did and somehow pull it out before it taints it, he
I
he punctures the
already
like
rolled a 21. I'm confused.
I said I was doing it.
it wasn't a natural crit.
Oh.
And so if one of
So
you
our bonus, we got him up to around a 16 or 18, right?
uh
As an oof.
yeah, and so basically um what happens is he punctures, like, what is it, the liver or the kidneys, the stomach, like whatever it is that like poisons a whole bunch of the meat. So you guys are only going to get half of the total check. Oh, there it is. Yeah, you have to cut it into small enough chunks. Yeah. So he poisoned a big section of it by puncturing the bad organs, and so you guys are only going to get it would have been 160 pounds, but now you only get 80 pounds.
My bad.
All right. I'll
There's
take
another
about
one.
I'll take like 5. That's all I can really carry.
So wait, do we have 2 Aurochs to butcher or just one?
No, just one. One got away. We let it go out of respect for it.
Yeah,
There was 3.
it's a little bit like reindeer and all of that, to where. Oh
And
yeah,
one,
there. Oh yeah,
one
you're
back.
right. You're right. There was 3. Okay, so yeah, go ahead and roll the second Aurochs butchering rolls. You might do a little better.
We'll back you up again, Eric.
Hey, after doing this a few times, it kind of looks like Ulf is better at this than Eric, eh? What do you say, Ulf?
Duh.
You should lead us next time, Ulf.
Jilivy, are you assisting in the second butchering?
I only have +1. I just got lucky that time. I don't
Oh,
want to
so
mess up.
yeah, you're like, nah, you guys got this. All right.
Yep.
All right. So you guys get 19, 190.
Nah. There's other people too, right? There's the Vikings, and everybody's got to pitch in and help with this. We should get up above a 20.
Well, I've just assumed that they were like useless, you know. Ivan will roll though. He's got to get up in there.
Well, he is named now, so that would be fair.
Yeah. That's exactly what I was thinking as soon as I said that. I was like, well, you know, he is a named NPC. Let's you know, let's go ahead and give him his due.
But I look it off and say, yeah, you're good. I'm not gonna chance messing something up. I was lucky the last time.
All right, so that's 21. And Kultanin, you know, he's the leader. He ain't got to do the grunt work. He ain't trying to peel potatoes.
As to the contaminated portion of the aurochs, Eric is going to attempt to spellcraft purify food and drink. It's an orison that he has.
Hey, good work there.
Yeah. Smart.
I still need to figure out what other feats I have. I think I have one more.
Seems
Yeah.
like the end result is, after all our work, we're going to have lots of food and more than we can carry.
Yeah, it
Enough
appears
to
as
leave
though you
several
guys have
statues.
370 pounds of meat right now, so or 270, but still, that's a lot.
We should prepare some caches and leave extra meat behind, just in case we should come back. Whatever we can't carry away with us.
No, it is 370. Yeah, 370 pounds of meat, so that's a lot.
You have a black hole somewhere to carry all that food, Eric?
Well, we can strap as much of it to Vitor and Kultanin as we can.
Yeah, there's 10 of us total, so that's only 40 pounds apiece.
I can't hold 40 pounds. I think my
Oh,
max
okay.
is.
Then the
I
rest
think
of
my
us
max
carry
is like
50.
maybe 10 pounds. What is my max?
We'll load up on what we can and leave the rest aside, but it'll take us a few days of resting and preparing food.
Oh yeah, I
And then-
mean 370 pounds is a lot to prepare that much meat. You guys are working like 12 hours easily. Even with all of you working, you know, shifts around the clock, like, you know, couple of you sleeping, couple of you working, etc. You know, it's gonna take a long time to prepare that much meat.
Oh yeah, I've butchered a couple of large animals
All
in
right.
real life. It's a time
Well, while y'all are
difficult
doing that,
process.
I'm gonna go talk to Cortana now.
Yeah, so Kultanin, you know, he's not butchering, and Jalivi, she got out of the way, so everybody's kind of focused on that, and they kind of just kind of wander off. Over here by the edge of the torchlight. Jalivi, you know,
Noticed them.
what's that?
Noticed them walking away.
Everybody like kind of sees it. It's not a big secret or nothing.
I just
Yeah, everybody sees them walking away to the edge of the torchlight.
and Nori's sort of curious. He sort of stealthily follows along.
As you are moving through the snow, you are using your genocide abilities to kind of snow walk and stealthily move along. So yeah, you can hear whatever. It's fine. Anyway, Kultanen says to Jalivy, you know that I have long kept you at arm's length, and although I have never disavowed you as blood, nor have you ever been, welcomed into my home as one of my, inner circle, there is a reason for this. A reason that I promised your mother that I would never, ever reveal. But, as you can see, this might be the end of our clan. We might go extinct here in this frozen north where I have led us. And I cannot die with this secret on my chest and on my soul. The gods would torment me. So, I must let you know. As you are well aware, we are all descended from the giantess Dufa, the Wave, one of the 9 daughters of Ran and Aer, I think.
Okay.
I might be wrong about the other one, but Ran and um, Dufa is mother to us all, and the giant's blood runs in all of us. But
Yes, Uncle.
when our people turned against the giants and sided with the gods, as well we should have, the giantess, her sister, had a witch come and put a curse on our bloodline, and unfortunately you were marked out at birth as having been born with the curse. The seer foretold that you would become the Snow Witch and kick off the final days of Fimbulwinter, where everything freezes over and Surtur comes forward to do battle with the gods, and that your powers, your blood, is what is to doom the world. And your mother, how I loved her, made me promise that I would never tell anyone what the seer has saw. She buried her axe in his head, and we dug a grave in the icy ground. That is why the seer was never seen again, ever since the day you were born.
Genevieve is speechless. She's trying to process this. My blood's dooming? But I thought my powers were meant to protect.
The seer, when he looked into the future, the gods allowed him to see a vision of you becoming the Ice Queen, the Queen of the Snow Witches, and unleashing a cold so deep that the world freezes over, forcing Surtur from his fiery tomb to come forth and do battle with the gods. And the goddess, for killing Dufa, our ancestor, had the witch curse us to bring forth our own doom.
Guess I'll just have
As
to
Norori is
find a
listening,
way to
oh sorry.
counteract this. I'm certainly not going to be the cause of everyone's death.
I would have killed you on the spot were it not for the love I bear your mother.
As Norori is listening to this,
Very well.
how does he feel exactly about it?
I don't know, you tell me.
As I'm sort of sitting there, like in the snow, silently.
Out
he's
of
sort of
character to Gillivy. That's intense.
Yes, it is.
What
sort of like,
what's that, Hazard? How do you feel about this?
I feel sort of like intrigued by this. That such a mortal should become the Snow Queen. That's, someone so insignificant could rise to such power.
Yeah.
Sylvie
Yeah.
doesn't know what to think about this. All she knows is she's gonna find a way to not be the one that makes all her friends go extinct somehow or another.
That is why we are on this quest. I believe that somehow we can avert this vision. Everyone knows that the seer's visions are fraught with riddle and hazy visions of futures that could be. And so, we will avert this. We are going to march to the land where the gods and the giants fought. We are going to take powerful magic and we are going to do whatever it takes to save the world. But just know this, niece. I will do whatever it takes to save the world. If you didn't look so much like your mother, I could still bury my axe in you right here and now. But I will wait. But should you ever threaten the safety of the world, I will end you.
Fair enough, Uncle. I can respect that.
Yeah, I think that that's an appropriate response. You've grown up in the harshest society on this continent, well, not the continent you're currently on, but on your continent, you guys live the harshest lifestyle possible at the very northern tip of the Arctic Circle, so you are a hard people, and you understand that he's not talking about like, oh, I don't like you or anything like that. He's saying, you might be a walking nuclear bomb, and if I have to do something to protect everybody, I will.
Secretly, though she doesn't voice it to anybody, Jillivy is well aware that when she came, that she may die on this quest, because she had long suspected her that she had something to do with the craziness of what with all the blackness and everything. So
Cousin, we're all likely to die on this quest, but let's get it done first, before we die.
Haha, that's my daughter. Daughter.
right.
As Norori is sort of like, as this conversation is dying down, he sort of sits in a sort of in a sort of thinking pose, and sort of kind of like tries to sort of try and understand the situation at hand. Like this woman that could easily end the world, yet is such a powerful force of ice in nature. Maybe perhaps he could benefit from it, while also helping prevent the end of the world.
We certainly don't want the end of the world.
This is thinking like to himself, so no one else is hearing it.
Right.
As he sort of sits back and as everyone rests.
Where is my meat? Surely you guys have cooked me a flank by now.
Soon, father, you must be patient.
Ugh.
Big, strong, tough warrior like you, father. You can wait a little bit on your meat. It's not as if it's as if you're cold in the middle of wintry Iceland.
Yeah. Even with your magical protections, like all your spell can do is keep you guys from like dying. You still feel every degree of negative temperature that it is.
Right. Jalebi will go about helping prepare the meal and think about her fate, but not talk to it about anybody.
Okay.
Also, we got those aurochs skins and furs off. They're pretty good. And so now we have extra warm furs to pass around to keep people warm.
Well, it'll take a
Oh.
few days for them to cure, really, but yeah.
When need presses, I think we'll use them.
I suppose you could flip them inside out and just say screw it, yeah.
Well, in this cold, I think, and with our tribal tendencies, I think a little bit of a bloody fur coat is not going to bother us.
No, and also, that's why you guys are eating the meat, like right away. You're cooking some, and I mean, when I say you guys are used to eating your meat, rare, I mean like blue rare. Blue is a chef's term in case any of you don't know. It just means like ultra rare, like the center is still pretty cold.
In
Still
real
no-
life, yuck.
Yeah, but in your village, that's the way you do it. You grab the you grab the warm heart of a recent kill, throw it on the fire for a minute on each side, and bite right into that sucker.
Yep.
Yeah. Also, until the past couple hundred years, the best parts of an eating animal were the organ meat. The organs were because you get vitamins and minerals that were very scarce. And the actual flesh that we now consider the meat of an animal was the least desirable part.
That's awful. Pun intended.
Yeah, yep. I was just
Yeah,
gonna
yeah.
say if you didn't know, you made a pun, but yes. Yes.
Also, evolutionary, the whole point of cooking the food is to pre-digest it.
It also makes it easier to chew, which allows your jaw muscles to shrink, which allows your brain to expand.
Yeah, that's digestion. Allows us to get away with smaller digestive center system all around.
Yeah.
And you can't go back from that.
Nope. From
Fire's
there,
in
it's
our genes.
yep. From there, it's just straight on into inventing nukes and destroying the world.
Kerblooey.
Yep.
Fireball.
Fireball. So, I think it's safe to say that you guys have spent, probably the better part of a day and a half kind of resting, feasting, making sure that whatever you could, store was stored, and that everything else was properly disposed of. Viter got a very hearty meal of a lot of the meat that you guys knew you would just never be able to cure. So all of the bits and pieces and everything that were left over, Viter just got to gnaw on for a day and a half. And as you guys go to leave, he breaks off one of the leg bones and brings it with him. He's just got a big old shank, just carrying it and walking along like a dog, like a chihuahua with a too big bone.
Eric
It's
pats
snack to
Victor
go,
on the
Vita,
head.
I ask.
Eric pats Victor on the head and says, "Good Victor, good Victor."
He kind of growls a little as you get close to his face with your hand and the bone.
And I growl right back at him.
Animal handling. Yeah, so, Viter starts to get a little possessive of his bone, and you growl right back at him, grab a hold of the bone, and make sure he understands that you'll take his bone from him anytime you want. And he kind of gets this dumb puppy look on his face as his tongue kind of hangs out at the side, and he sits down and starts panting heavily because he wants the bone so bad that he's getting his heart rate up so high that he can't calm himself down, and he's just panting and getting excited for the bone, and he kind of pees just a little stream because he remembers that you're still in charge, even though at this point he weighs almost 4 times as much as you.
Yeah. Well, Eric, seeing this, throws the bone back at Victor for him to catch it.
Yeah, and so Viter is going to try to catch it. Oh man, he whiffs hard. He just is running, and he does that Scooby-Doo run in place on the ice, so he couldn't get enough traction, and he just chases after the bone and goes and gets it.
Or he just starts chuckling to himself at the scene.
And I tell Victor, "Good Victor."
Nah. Yeah, and now as you look to the skies, the first thing you see is blackness. Pure dark blackness. And then slowly but surely you make out little rolling bits of lightning, and then you hear the thunder. There is a storm moving in, and this, all your years of studying space have made you very in tune with nature and weather patterns and the sky in general, and so you right away know that this is one of those sweeping nor'easter type of storms that brings with it heavy downpour, wind, lightning, everything, except for in this freezing cold, I don't suppose you think it'll be rain.
All right. So as Gilby looks to the skies, she feels a surge of power, just enough to assure that there at least is some truth to what she was secretly told. Doesn't say anything except, we should hurry on our way. It'll be there's danger coming. Storm.
We're just about packed and ready. Everybody ready to travel?
I shall follow.
I think we packed everything up, huh?
I told you all to pack it, so it should be packed, yes.
All right. So, Eric makes a final look around to make sure we've packed as much as we can and says we're ready to go.
All right. You guys begin to march along, having taken your long rest. You are, restored of your hit points and your spell points, stamina, etc. But as you continue to march, you guys realize that even with Scotty's spell, what does it give? Resistance 10? 5?
10. Resistance 10 to cold and the effects of endure elements also.
Yes. So, even with her spell reducing the damage by 10, you guys begin to feel your core temperatures dropping as the wind starts to bite into any exposed surface. Everybody covers up as best as they can, but one of the Vikings, at one point, you see actually, is anybody like, checking on everybody here or doing anything special here at this point, or are we all just kind of marching on?
So, a couple things.
I think-
Scotty got everybody, made sure everybody was at full hit points and
Yep.
full vigor before we left.
Yep.
And yeah, she's circulating and checking on everyone once every hour.
Okay. So Scotty, as you guys continue to push on and march on, you notice one of the Vikings, is getting a little redder in the cheeks than the rest of everybody else because he doesn't have as much fat on him. He's a little bit skinnier than everybody else. And
It's his unlucky day. He gets to carry the damn half the aurochs skin, fur inward. She's carrying it right now, and you can barely see Scotty underneath the big half auroch skin.
yeah, so
But
you
now
give
he has
you
to
give him
carry them
yeah, you give
straight
him
on.
some extra weight. Not only does the fur, protect him a little bit more from the cold, keep a little bit more of his heat in, and all of that, but just the weight of it making him exert himself a little bit more, it kind of warms his blood up a little, and you have prevented him from getting frostbite on his face. So, good job. But as you guys march on, now another one of the Vikings uh, is starting to slow and tire just from the sheer trudging is just beginning to drain him, and he's failing his checks, not all the time because your magic is keeping the worst of it at bay, but just frequently enough to where like the cumulative effect of being out in this extreme cold is starting to wear on him.
It's time for a channel for everybody to restore the vigor.
If with Genevieve knowing that she's supposed to be this white witch or whatever, is there some? Maybe she should just see if she can examine the snows and find a way to bring some warmth out. I mean, to channel the winds or something away to make to where they're less. I don't know.
Do you
And
want to? Oh, go ahead.
as things get, as the weather worsens and the Vikings start to become exhausted, Eric suggests that we set up camp, and he suggests I can cast my campfire wall and help hold the elements at bay with that.
How
right,
long will
let's-
this storm last? We cannot afford to just stop here.
Well, do you have a better idea with everyone becoming exhausted?
Didn't my daughter say she was gonna juice us up?
Yeah, she just did that. That's 14 vigor.
It's not
But
going
I
to
don't
be
think
enough
that's gonna
in this.
help.
It'll get us
No,
another
that's too little,
mile towards our destination.
How many miles do we have to go, Father?
How many roads? I I don't know.
Because I
Eric
can
is
do
gonna
that
roll
2 more times.
Eric is going to roll perception and see if there's anywhere around to take shelter as well.
All right, but remember it's
And-
pitch black, so like it's very hard to see
Stay
too
close.
far.
Jilliby wants to know if there's a way she can channel that thunder that she saw to her advantage to help her companion since she's supposed to be a white witch.
Sure, go ahead and roll a spell check.
Sounds like that's what lit up the landscape so Idic could see so well to perceive those faraway things.
See,
Lightning from the storm, maybe.
Spell check.
I
What am I? What am
yeah,
I doing?
you just roll spell check.
What am I doing?
You tell me. You're taking advantage of the thunder and everything. You're trying to see if it can like help your companion, so you're rolling a spell check to try and influence it.
Okay, where's spell check at?
It's under spell book, maybe, I think.
Concentration check?
No. There should be. Okay. Abilities. No.
There's a skill spellcraft.
Oh yeah, there it is. Skills. Spellcraft +3.
And is Eric able to see anything in the light of the thunder and lightning?
Well, yeah, I was getting to that as soon as she did that, but Scotty already beat me to the punch knowing what was coming. So yeah, Jillivi, you focus your inner magical abilities and channel your raw mana, subtract 5 from your spell pool, and as you connect with the storm, you suddenly feel a surge of electricity pass through your body, streak up to the sky, and then hit the clouds. And as it hits the clouds, it spreads out, creating like a dome of light. Everywhere where there's clouds and the lightning spreads in between them in this weaving web, it like lights up like fluorescent lights in a warehouse, just like bit by bit, and then like it shuts off and then continues spreading. And when it gets to the horizon, you see huge, huge mountains, bigger than anything you have back at home. Just these monstrous mountains going up way past the clouds, and you can see as the lightning goes there that there's this constant swirling snow storm and lightning going on all across the mountains. And then right as that happens, hail begins to rain down on you. At first, it is not too big and it just stings a little, but soon it becomes the size of marbles and then golf balls. And by that time, people are getting hit and it is hurting. It is denting helmets and bruising bone and muscle, and you know that you must hunker down.
Underneath the aurochs skins.
No, we need the spell dome. We need a spell dome. We need a magical dome.
Eric, you cannot fail this time.
Eric memorized the spell Campfire Wall.
Oh,
Not at this,
oh, that's
but
right.
at the
Yeah, that's right. You swapped out and started memorizing that one now. So yeah, now you don't even need to do your spellcraft. You just are able to do it because you've been, working on it, and so you start a small fire quickly. Everybody huddling around with the skins blocking the intense wind and hail just enough for Eric to get the fire going, and then with a few words chanted in a druidic ancient primordial tongue, suddenly the campfire roars to life, and you see a wave of energy kind of erupt out of it, and for a second it shimmers at the edge of the dome and then fades to just a like haze.
well, is that what it typically does?
Oh, yeah, I don't know. That's what it does when I describe it.
Okay, cool. So it worked then. So we have shelter now.
Yeah, yeah. That was me describing it working in case that wasn't clear.
Okay,
No,
good.
they can cover under
So was
north.
like the cause of this hail, or was that is just something I saw with the light?
Do you want to roll Knowledge Arcana to see if you can figure that out? And also, yeah, Norori, once inside the dome, you like hate it. It is roasting. This is beyond being in a sauna to where it's like a good heat. This is like being inside an oven.
Nope. I'm getting out of here. No, thank you. And Nora
Hey,
gets out of the radio, the fire, and hides under Norori, under North.
Yeah. So North kind of like shifts his icy shape a little to turn himself into a bit of a half of a lean-to dome kind of thing, and gets over you like an umbrella a little bit. So, yeah, you're underneath North, and then now, yeah, Jalivi, you are pretty sure that you had something to do with it, and it definitely felt like you were casting a spell, and then that happened. So yeah.
Okay. So, all right. Well, um, I guess I need to talk. How far are we from this? Is that mountain where the giant is or whatever? Right?
Yeah.
How far are we from that?
From what you could see, although it was a little bit hard to tell, about 5 to 7 miles.
Okay. Is that
perhaps we
Arcana spell also let me know? Is that gonna affect my normal spell casting if I would I know that if I just cast a normal regular everyday spell, would I know if that's gonna affect the weather again?
You can roll
That's that
another
doesn't focus.
Yeah, you can roll another Knowledge Arcana to see if you can figure that part of it out. Scotty, you would probably notice inside this dome that Jalivi seems to be doing like magical calculations. Like you would recognize it. She's like Abra to the sixth power of Kadabra, Hocus minus Pocus.
Scotty will walk over to her cousin and ask anything I can help you with, cousin.
Jilliby thinks on it. She knows her cousin loves her like a sister and has for years. She's wondering if she's going to scare her off, though. She doesn't think she will, so she says, um, I'm afraid I'm putting y'all in danger.
Well, yeah, we all put each other in danger, and we all get each other out of danger. We've been doing it
No,
for
I
years.
mean,
And you with
I
your
mean real,
strong frame, Jillivy, you've been putting us in danger for years. But you do your own thing.
I don't mean the normal monster danger. I mean, like mortal, just me being here.
Whatever do you mean, Jillivy?
If I tell you, you must promise not to tell the other Vikings and Ulf and Eric.
What? A secret?
It's for their own good.
Do
They
you
have
mean don't tell them or don't tell anyone?
don't tell anyone.
All
Not
right,
yet.
Jillivy, I so swear.
Your father took me aside, as you well know, just yesterday, correct?
Yes, I wasn't paying too much attention, but yes.
And you well know my backstory about me being cursed by the witch with my birth. That's how I got my
Oh, yes,
star
yes,
power.
of course. Know all about that. It's never been a big deal to you. To me, has it been a big deal to you?
Not until your father shared that my powers might be putting us all in danger to the level of extinction. It worries me. I do not wish to be the death of everyone.
Why do you think you will be? Explain.
Your father told me of a seer vision where I'll become the White Witch, and I must find a way to avert this, either by converting my powers to help or perhaps even sacrificing myself to save you all.
Well, how about you just do your best to get us through this, and thereby you'll acquire. I mean, the White Witch is a near divine being. For you to get there, well, you're not there now, cuz. So treat this as a warm up, and maybe in a few centuries, that's what you'll do.
It is true that seer visions can be misleading, but
Hey, whatever happened to that seer? I heard he wasn't seen again after the day you were born.
Yeah, you would have been, like a couple years old, maybe just old enough to have remembered him a little bit.
your father buried her in the ground to keep the secret from the others, to protect me and my mother, your aunt.
Oh, that explains where the seer went to. Okay. Yeah, that sounds like Dad and Mom.
So, but he has already told me if it comes to it, he will kill me to protect the rest of you.
Well, so would I, and I expect you'd do the same to me.
Of course, I also doing calculations that I was the partial cause of that hail, and I've got to figure out I must figure out how to keep from hurting y'all with my magic.
You caused that hail just now?
Partially.
Wow, cousin, your magic's becoming mighty.
That's what worries me. Anyway, for now, let's just keep it, but perhaps you can help me figure this out. And we may bring in Eric later since he is also a magic user, but for now, just leave it as it is.
As you wish, cousin. These are grave matters. I do agree that it's wise to bring Irik in at when you choose.
I don't know about the Iceman yet,
We'll have to get to know
but
him better.
perhaps I should talk to him just one-on-one, just to ask about his powers.
That seems a good idea. Don't tell him much, though. We don't know him yet.
Sounds like a wise course of action. I agree. So,
All right. See you later,
your
cousin.
advice, cousin.
Well, none of you are
All right,
going
I'm
too
done.
far. The dome's only like, 30 feet radius or something like that,
Okay. So, I'm restless, and with the resistance and everything, I have that +5 plus Scotty's 10 or whatever. Has the storm swayed any? Can I go out safely out of the dome to talk with Norori?
If you go out of the dome, you'll take 1d6 fire damage coming back into it.
Ah. Thanks, Eric. Alright, well, I'll just
Call Narori into it quick. Thor, go again.
I'll just sit restlessly through the night and think on how I'm gonna approach Norori.
And if we're taking a long rest here, I'm going to swap out my Stone Burst spell for Endure Elements Communal.
Well, the storm does not die down, and the spell is about to fade after, what is it, 8 hours?
Do note
Yeah.
that Scotty does the same thing as Endure Elements Communal as a rider effect on her channeling, which she can do 6 times per day.
Yeah, which you're spreading out enough to, continuously update everybody. And yeah, so it's you can feel the spell's power waning, but the storm has not.
So is your effect the same as Endure Elements, or is it cumulative with that?
It's a rider
I think
effect.
it's the same.
Yeah, it's just a rider effect. It's you get all the benefit of channeling plus endure elements.
Okay, so never mind then. I'll just keep the Stone Burst then. It wouldn't do any additional good to have that spell if that's the case.
Yeah, so do you cast the campfire spell again?
Well, we've
We've
Yeah,
rested for 8 hours. I wouldn't waste it. I'd go as far as we can go, and then I'd just go as far as we can go and not waste it right away. We've already had 8 hours.
yeah,
Right.
and
Is
I
everybody all
think
rested and warm?
Well, you guys weren't completely exhausted when you took this either. Scotty had just channeled, but it was getting beat with hail, which is still hailing down. That was the
Oh,
thing
there's
that
still hail?
yeah, oh yeah.
well, Jalivy, what do you think we should do? Do you think this hail is going to subside?
Let me. I think that it. You know what? Let's just wait. We can do it one more time. If it doesn't come, do it one more time, and then why? And I'm gonna. Well, wait till I talk to Rory first before. I need to talk to Rory before we cast it again. So I wave Rory to come into. I tell Rory I wave Rory from outside and ask him to come in and
After the spell is ended, huh?
yes.
Well, if the spell ends, you guys are gonna get pelted with softball-sized hail.
Now
That
it's
might-
softball sized. It was golf sized.
Well, yeah,
See,
but
like, during that 8-hour rest, the obvious thing to do was build enough of a snow shelter so that we're protected from the hail.
well, there is like a half of a dome's worth of hail built up around where you guys had the dome, but like some of it melted and then refroze and everything. So, you know.
It might be best for you to walk outside of the campfire wall as the spell is close to fading. There's no penalty for walking outside of it.
No,
All right.
she wants you guys to stand in the hail while she has this conversation.
No, no, that's not what I want. All right, so maybe we should I need to talk to Rory, so we need to build it. We need to build, as Scotty suggested, we need to build a shelter for when the dome expires. So I guess cast it one more time.
All right. Eric will cast campfire wall once more.
Okay. The campfire spell is restored.
And so now I'll take a shift of rest, and then we'll take a shift and
Well,
no
nobody needs
shift.
to rest. Like most
That's right.
most of you
Just-
are actually feeling kind of restless because like you've been resting now for what feels like days. Indeed, it has been at least almost 2 days now at this point.
Okay, well then we'll build the igloo, and then when it expires, we need to talk to Rory and see if he can help or whatever, because I still don't know what his powers are, and I need to get to know him.
Yeah, so with the heat of the campfire dome and everything, you can, kind of start right out from where you are and use it to your advantage to help sculpt some sturdy walls and everything. And so you can't get, like too big because of just the laws of physics and all of that, but architecturally speaking, with your dome and everything, you can probably get a room big enough to comfortably suit um, you know 4 or 5 people, and then you can build like a little hive essentially of these rooms to where there's a couple of rooms very close to each other.
Like I said, Jilva's gonna help with the constructing of the stones until it fades, and then when it fades, she's gonna wave Rory over.
Yeah, so you guys managed to get these shelters in place. The first main tunnel is the biggest because Kultanen is just simply too big to accommodate, multiple tunnels for. And so you build one big tunnel, one big room where like him and a couple of the Vikings can hang out, and then there's a couple of rooms for everybody so that like nobody's feeling overly cramped and everything. And so you guys kind of all split up into your groups, and the spell fades. And Jalivi, you find that in the 16 hours that you guys have already been hunkering down, that the storm has not only not let up at all, but that Narori has grown bored and has started shaping and taking all of the hail and everything, and instead of um, some crappy little snow cave like you guys are chilling in, he literally has an entire little like log cabin built out of ice. And I mean, this is like a proper home. It has various rooms set aside for like, his bedroom where he's been sleeping and resting and everything, and then a room with a table and a chair, and even like little ice dice that he's been rolling and playing ice games with, and a cup made out of ice with ice in it that he was drinking, the whole 9 yards. Ice curtains, a little ice window,
Okay.
just all of it.
As
And
I
Eric,
as I go to Fauntleroy, I notice his fancy dwelling, and I'm like, you got me curious. Just exactly what are you, and where, and how did you come to be here?
I
It's
sort of
not,
look around in sort of this hut. This
Did you knock on the door? The ice door?
yeah.
Oh, okay. So, Narori, as you are sitting there playing a game of ice dice against yourself, you hear a knock on your ice door.
I sort of run up to the door and sort of creak it open to see who is knocking on it. Who's there?
It's Jillaby. Your fancy dwelling's got me curious. May I come in?
I suppose so. As Nori sort of creaks the door open for 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 the for the for the woman to enter.
So, Jalivi,
Alright.
as you enter, you notice two things right away. One, there is no more wind and hail, so like it's nicer in here, but also the ice seems to be like otherworldly cold. So like it is very deep freezer cold in here, but there's no wind or hail, so it's still kind of nice.
Colder than I used to, but no draft. Interesting.
Yes, quite the abode. Come, have a seat. As I sort of shift a chair up.
Well, yeah, so you only had one chair because there was no need to have another one, but you just like kind of use your powers to like create another chair quickly.
I I look at it and decline. I'm like, I appreciate the thought, but no, because even though there's no wind, I'm not really. I know how cold it is, and I'm worried. I'm worried. Well, actually, no, I do sit down when I think about it, because I'm like, you know what? If I'm this white witch in the snow ice, it shouldn't affect me. So, out of curiosity, I sit and see
Okay.
if it affects me, first
You
of all.
you sit in the chair and place your hands on the armrests and feel, and although it is cold, it is not damaging you in any way. Suddenly, manacles come up from out of the chair and strap you down. No, I'm kidding.
He sort of sits down. So, you come to talk to me, if I'm correct? About
I,
what?
I did. We don't know you well, and I figured it's about time we should get to know each other. Um,
Certainly. I'm always willing to share some of my personal life, especially with the foresaid White Witch.
to your
how do you
to your
how do you know
disbelief,
this?
as he's saying this, he picks up his glass, which you've just realized looks sort of like a martini glass, and he takes a little ice toothpick with an ice olive in it and literally stirs like it was liquid the ice that is in the glass and takes a drink and sets it down, yet it still appears to be solid ice.
I look at it questioningly, look at him like, how do you know of this?
Snow reveals all to me. It is my form. I am a child of ice, after all.
Well, you saved me the trouble of dancing around the questions. I know you're a creature of ice, and if I'm supposed to be this ice witch, I may need your help.
Taking over the world.
Destroying the world with your powers? Yes, I've heard.
Together, we could amp this up to an 11.
Well, since you know of my deep dark secret, perhaps you should share one of your own. What were you doing to come into this plane, and why?
Norori sort of sits back in his chair and sort of just sighs as he sort of forms this sort of this crystal ice in his hands as he sort of contemplates. I suppose it has to do with the whole fact that the world is ending as we know it. The great world tree is nearing its branches. As its cycle goes on.
Are you
Of course.
world trees? You refer of more than one. Do you think our cold has something to do with your plane, or is it affecting your plane as well?
Just affecting your plane. It's affecting many planes, to be exact. It's a cycle, if you don't understand me.
I understand perfectly. I just was wondering, are you here to? I was just wondering, are you here to help or hurt?
Are you a good witch
Because
or a bad witch?
because if from what I'm inferring, these planes are interconnected, and I'm thinking, maybe there's something going on in your ice plane that's affecting us here.
Tell us what you're up to, Icy.
Suppose there is. He says, there is a lot of risk for mortals like you to go traveling into other planes.
Mortals, you keep saying that word. You are not mortal? You are ever living?
I am a child of ice. If I were to die, I would just simply return to the ice and be reborn again. It's sort of hard to kill that which started the world.
Yeah, elements have a weird sense of like reincarnation and everything to where like they understand that like you cannot destroy energy and elements and all of that. So like he'll die, this form will die, but he just goes back to the ice and another Genesai is born with his, icy makeup and it's just on and on and on forever.
Though I
Right.
do have to admit, there is something wrong going on here with my power. As you saw with North, you see, North isn't the only Eldion I have in my troop, to be exact. I have another named South.
The cardinal directions. Okay,
Yes,
so
North and South Pole, to be exact.
my guess is if you are only half of a part of your true self at the moment, then you must be here to reunite the two halves.
Indeed. That way I can gain my full powers and return to my plane. And maybe, just maybe, I can help you with the whole powers of that could end the world. You could come along with me. That way your powers would not exactly affect this world.
Are you saying you can help me control my powers to keep this world from going to extinction?
Indeed, I could. I very well could. But you in turn must help me. I need to find South. He
So
is
if
an
I,
essential part to me, as you cannot have yin without yang, nor you can have north without south.
this is true. Do you think we can, with your help, can we defeat this cursed cold?
As you would say, fight fire with fire. Yes, I could. Yes, I could. But
All
as
right.
I said, we need to find South.
Well, I believe that I can strike. I think that sounds like a fair bargain. I am willing to A, help you as long as you help me. And if it comes to it, I'm already well aware that there's a possibility that I'll be a sacrificial lamb, and I can accept that.
Quiet,
But
Veter.
I will not be the cause of extinction to my people in this world.
Veter just continues to growl and bark, not knowing where Jalivi has gotten off to.
Eric goes over to Victor to try to calm him down some.
Yeah. Good element to put that in while my dog was barking, by the way. Yeah. Well, can you help me stop this hail so we can get this first quest? Can you help me stop this hail so we can get this first part of the quest done so I can help you?
Of course. First, you're going to need to understand what exactly is causing this hail. Which part of you is doing it?
You're a part of the cause? I
No, no,
guess.
no, no. You misunderstand me. Which part of you is causing the
Oh, which
hail?
part of me? Are you so you're offering to be my teacher?
Yes, indeed. I am offering my service to you as a teacher.
Very well. I'm all ears.
So, as I was saying, what you need to understand first is what emotion is causing the hail. Which part of you might be causing it? Dig deep into your mind.
I have a conflict between the fear of being the reason for the extinction of this world and the curiosity at what kind of powers these are and if I could use them for good purposes.
So deep down, you want the power.
But I don't want to, but there's a conflict. I'm curious, but don't, I'm not gonna, I don't want to do it at the expense of others. I want to understand enough to, I want to understand enough of them to help keep the curse at bay. And then at some point, whatever happens to me, you know, we'll just have to see.
Seems like it's your guilt that the fact that your powers are causing such pain. You are literally punishing yourself. Think of it like a whip. like you think of you're punishing yourself by whipping your back. It's a strange thing, but it's very common for some religious folk.
I've never been quite religious, but yes, there's some guilt that I might be causing this, but I also want to also if I can use whatever I have to help avert this catastrophe, then I need to learn enough about it to help rather than hurt.
You're lucky your uncle didn't hear that heresy.
What,
Yes.
Uncle?
You guys
Just
got cursed by a witch because you sided with the gods.
But was that me or was that my family?
It was your
I'm a little bit-
ancestors. It was your ancestors. You know, they're the ones who sided with the gods. But still, you know, like your whole tribe is like very religious. So if he heard you saying you're not very religious, he'd be like, "Oh man, that sounds like heresy."
Oh, well, I didn't know that, but I'll keep it to myself. But and I guess I might have to change that later if I survive.
Just stop being hard on yourself. Let the pains of your guilt stop stinging your back, and in turn, it will stop hurting your friends, to be exact, your companions. Let the hail turn to snow.
All right.
So what he's saying to you is that instead of trying to hold back and stop the hail, give all of your power and turn it into what you want it to be. Don't hurt yourself by trying to limit the power. Give yourself over to it and take control of it.
Okay. All right. Rory, I thank you. I will do my best to do that. I thank you.
I nod in response and give a knowing smile.
And then leave.
Yeah, so, you know, returning to the area with the rest of the folk, they're all in their little shelters. You get pegged by hail along the way, so you're going to have to roll a constitution save to try and not take bludgeoning damage.
Defenses, right?
Yes.
Fortitude, wrath, will.
Fortitude. All right, you take 8 bludgeoning damage as a large piece of hail.
How much?
8.
Okay.
As a large piece of hail strikes you right in your shoulder, you can feel it dislocate and your arm goes numb.
I take the damage, hurry back under the dome, then tell them to stand back because after talking with Aurora, I can't be scared anymore or guilty anymore and have to see if I can get this hell to stop.
All right, cousin, we have confidence in you.
Ivan steps up and says, Whoa, 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 wait. Shouldn't you go back out by Narori to do whatever it is you're about to do? I mean, you don't have to do it in here by all of us, right? Unless you want our
Well,
people to die, which it kind of seems like you do.
no. I just. All right. It's fair enough. All right. Point taken. So, uh, I'll go back to. Um, I'll go back
Yeah.
and
Yeah, so you're back by Narori, and you begin to channel. And I'm going to have you roll a spell craft check, and Narori, I'm going to have you roll Knowledge Arcana as she begins her spellcraft check. Jalivi makes the connection, channeling her magical energy up into the sky. The hail instantly stops hailing on the spot where you guys are. But Narori, as you're watching, you can see that Jalivi not only spent the 5 spell points to make the connection with the channel, but she's literally feeding the storm. It's feeding off of her like a parasitic connection. And by making a connection with it, she has allowed it to grow stronger. And the hail everywhere else starts to fall with lightning strikes. And so it's just massive spiky balls of hail and lightning falling everywhere all around.
it's not
Nori
falling on their
sees
dome, is it?
and says, "Not like that! Don't do it like that!"
It's too
I
late.
abruptly
Like,
stop and look at.
you cannot stop. Like a electrical back loop, it is feeding off of you and you are frozen in place. In fact, quite literally, ice begins to creep up your feet, freezing you in place.
What?
Scotty looks to Nordri and Erik and Ulf and the others if they wish. Should we put her to
Nord!
sleep?
Yeah, I mean, you've definitely noticed that the storm has kicked it up from a 9 to a
Would it help to
17.
put her to sleep? Right, and she's asking Nordri, who seems to know what's going on. Nordri, should I put her to sleep?
Yes! Quickly!
Okay. Scotty will attempt to put Jillivi to sleep.
Like euthanizer?
No, like slumber hacks
Oh, okay.
to
Oh,
try to
go
disrupt
go ahead and
the
roll your
connection to the storm.
yeah. Go ahead and roll your hex then. All right, and then Jalivi, you have to make a will save.
Can Jillivi
Voluntarily
deliberately
fail,
save if
yes.
she wants to?
Yes, she can voluntarily fail.
Okay, then I'll do that because I've already stated I do not wish to hurt my companions.
Jillivi slumps to sleep, but the power continues to surge upwards, keeping her upright. And now she kind of looks a little bit like a wacky waving arm inflatable tube man as she is pulled upwards in the torrent of magical energy that is being siphoned off of her to fuel the storm.
That didn't seem to help. Can anyone dispel magic or stop that connection? Or
North!
it is beyond
I
me. Says
call to
Scotty.
my Elyon North and say, Pull her away from the storm. We need to get her out of here.
North grabs her and pulls her out of the spot where she began to channel the magic, and sure enough, it snaps it just long enough for Jalivy to fall completely asleep and limp in North's arms as she looks completely drained. And in fact, just to let you know, you are in fact completely drained of all of your mana, and even resting as you are, it doesn't come back when you wake up.
All right.
Scotty would like to do a thorough investigation, healing check on Jalivy.
You can tell that physically nothing is wrong with her aside from being a little bit chilled, but nothing crazy. But
All right. Are there any targets for lesser restoration?
yeah, so go ahead and roll a knowledge arcana check.
16.
All right, so you can tell that it's not her body that is drained, but rather her soul, her spirit.
Scotty will say so in a sing-song voice as she's examining the wounded Jalivy or the hurt Jalivy. She'll explain this in tone. This is not a hurt of the body. This is a hurt of the soul. The storm has drained part of her life essence and gained power.
I can do that.
And Scotty will cast lesser restoration on her. Bruce, knowing mechanically it won't be effective, but
Well,
that's
actually,
she'll try to do.
what it does
Powerful
do,
recovery magic.
what it does do is restore her just enough to where now she will regain her mana points slowly.
All right. So like 2 at a time, 5 at a time.
The first night you will regain 1/4 of your maximum mana points. The second night 1/2, and the third night all of them.
1 point or 1/4 of whole.
25% of your maximum.
Okay.
There, says Scotty. She should recover. But are we going to press on now? And try to weather the storm? Shelter under the Aurochs hides? Or do we need to wait until the stones are gone?
Do I need to make a check?
To do what?
Like to understand if the storm is going to fade?
Oh,
soon?
you're not a meteorologist.
Incidentally,
Don't look at me, I'm a meteorologist.
while we're inside the campfire dome, Eric is going to attempt to read weather as a first level spell.
Ah, yes. And so then after your next rest, I assume that you will cast that.
Correct.
The storm will let up in 2 days.
Okay. I convey as much to the rest of the party.
After 3 days of resting and waiting out the storm, there is snow higher than the dome. You have to dig your way out.
And
We can do that.
Yeah,
Weather after a fresh storm is always best. Great skiing weather. This is the very best skiing ever, my friends, after a great storm.
And indeed, this is the most pristine horizon of snow you've ever seen in your life. And as the storm dissipates and the slight light from the moon and stars comes back, you can see the twinkling of the light off of the glistening snow and ice.
Wait, it's not completely dark anymore?
No, it's pretty much completely dark, but there's stars and moonlight, which, when you go from being completely dark to a little bit of moonlight, it's like, oh, holy crap.
But before you said there were no stars, no moonlight.
That's
Be-
because of the storm and the clouds that blocked them.
Correct.
Okay, so my explosion of power cleared away some of this storm stuff clouds then? I'm just trying to be clear.
It's because that you disconnected from the storm.
And then in a few days, the storm died out, and now the storm has died and passed. And we have calm
Okay.
with which we can make that last 5 or 7 miles.
All right.
Plus, we have a cave to retreat to.
As I come to over the 3 days, I realize this, and think Coltena might be right, but I'm still gonna look for a way to fix it. But I do ask Neroris with our newfound bargain, if he would be willing to do shelters for us so we won't waste our campfire spells as we proceed, and if he wants me to convey his wishes to the rest of the party that we
Not
spoke of.
everyone, only to a select few, because I do not trust that man, as he looks to the large figure known as the chief.
Okay.
That's big chief to you.
Yes, so he'll create a shelter, try and create a shelter.
Well, we don't need it right now, but I mean in the future.
Yes, he'll do his best to create a shelter. Just be cautious that the warmth doesn't melt it.
Okay. All right. So I guess it's time we told Eric and Ulf of our, well, I definitely need to tell Eric about the magic problems.
Seems
And
like a good idea. And Ulf is trustworthy, and we should take him in on it too. But
yeah, but we'll just trust that he's been around us enough to understand. All right, so I tell Eric and Ulf and what's been told, and say I'm looking for a way to resolve this to keep y'all from going extinct because of this so-called prophecy that I intend to break.
I'm sure Ulf can think of a solution.
You mean one that doesn't involve an axe to the head, too? Right?
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean,
So I share my secret and nod at or Narori to tell his, because I
And
don't feel like it's my place to say.
talk about like the exact reason why he's here and the fact that he's trying to find his missing half south. and just basically he's going to try and help teach this witch in training to control her power.
And Eric says we can't very well let her bring it into the world, so I will help you find South, and I'm sure Ulf will as well. And
Scotty says, I will help too, though first we must accomplish what we're doing.
That was the original agreement with Nerori. So yes.
Grunt, grunt, grumble, grunt.
Is that the same Grumple from before?
Pretty much.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, if you guys want to, you know, press on now, we can do that. Or if you want to try and, you know, resolve, you know, how you're going to go about doing this with Jalivi. You know, by the way, I just got to point out that Jalivi was told that her powers will destroy the world, and instantly your first reaction is, quick, teach her how to use her powers.
Oh, my first reaction is let's not solve the problem with using an axe to the head.
that's pretty much Eric's reaction too.
And third from Scotty.
Well,
Kultanin wants to
I
know what
still-
you guys got against the tried and true method of an axe to the head for solving problems.
Does Kultanin even know what's going on at this point?
No, but like just, you know, in general, like an axe to the head solves most problems.
well,
Apply directly to the forehead.
Head off.
Yeah, head off. Nice. Well done.
well, you know, Jillibee's already accepted that she might get killed, but in the meantime, if she can reverse the course, if she thinks Nerori can help her reverse this destructive course, she's gonna try it.
Sure. Nothing wrong with that.
That is
Just
what
it sounded like the guys were like poo-pooing the axe to the head method of solving problems, which, like, you know, Kultanin would take
it's
offense
a
to.
good method, Dad.
Yeah, I'm just saying, you know, that's how I solve all of my problems in life.
Well, I was asking that I hope they have a different suggestion. I didn't say it doesn't work.
Oh, come on, get your gear together. Let's be off.
Yep, let's go.
There's
Yeah,
a
we
head
need-
somewhere that needs an axe.
Yeah, my axe is thirsty.
All right, then I guess we should proceed.
Yeah, but you guys go in front of me, especially you, Ivan.
Why is the chieftain saying go in front now? He likes to be the leader.
Yeah, but like we gotta climb up this hill, and I gotta keep an eye on my daughter. So, you know, as we come to the foothills before the mountains, I'm gonna let the other guys kind of like go on ahead and make sure the footing's secure and all of that. I mean, we don't need the chief dying because I slipped on a slippery rock, right?
Are you afraid you're going to trip over your own feet?
You're afraid, little man.
Go feed your axe or something.
Perhaps
I'm
we-
about to.
I laugh at it.
Perhaps we should send Star ahead to scout.
Is in this cold and darkness, Star can't survive long away from Scotty's cloaks.
Yeah,
Maybe
she's
Vito
been
can.
She's been huddled under. Yeah, but Star is a hawk, and Veter is a polar bear.
Okay.
Well,
Star's
you, ha-
doing his best impression of acting as a third nipple.
you do have endure elements, though, huh, Scotty?
Oh yeah, Star is under the effects of endure elements.
Yeah.
Mechanically, it would be
She's
possible.
right. She's not in risk of dying. She's in risk of having her wings freeze and not being able to maintain flight.
And crashing and dying.
Right.
Come on, Vitor.
All right, Scotty will send Star up for a very brief aerial scout. Just up, view it all, looking through her eyes, and then back.
All right. Roll up perception.
I've rolled. It seems to be taking a while. 26.
Yeah. So Star spots the body of a knight frozen in his armor with his sword clutched in his hand as the birds peck at the frozen flesh.
Ooh, so kind of recent.
Impossible to tell in this weather. He could be zombified, mummified for, who knows how long.
Well, we spotted some other. We spotted a dead body, but no signs of other danger. But I anticipate great danger here. Be careful, everyone. And we're still under the cold protection from last night.
We'll be on the lookout, Scotty. Thank you.
How far away is this body? Perhaps we should go investigate.
It's right here.
It's just on the next level up, but we'll have to go to the left.
Yep, gonna go investigate it.
You taking Vitor?
Oh yeah, Veter's gonna stay by my side. I don't have control of him though.
Oh, you guys are slow.
All right.
Veter looks at you as if to ask if this one is for eating.
I shake my head at Veter and toss him some auroch meat.
And he greedily eats it. You guys see an old man, his skin weathered and leathered from the biting cold and years of fighting before he ever died. In his chainmail and armor, he looks almost out of place in your society, as if he comes from the lands from the south. You can't tell what brought him to this place and his bitter end, but you can tell that he was a formidable warrior in his prime, from his broad shoulders and his long limbs, though they are emaciated and dried from the freezing winds and cold. And so he sits gripping his sword in his dead, icy hands, his eyes closed now forever, as he stares up at a sky that he will never see again.
Can we tell how long he's been here?
Nope. Well, actually, you can roll a knowledge nature check to see how much you know about, like, freezing elements and all of that. So Ulf, you know for a fact that, like, something that's been frozen like this will literally look almost as if they had just died for up to, thousands and thousands of years. So it's impossible to tell anything just by examining that. However, you do also know that after a certain time, the meat is no longer like viable enough for the birds to want it. So he couldn't have been dead more than like a couple hundred years, at the most. And that's about as far as you can narrow it down that way. However, go ahead.
What about corrosion on his equipment?
Yes, I was just gonna say. However, by examining his equipment, you've noticed that there is no corrosion whatsoever, and his armor is as shiny and brilliant and dent-free as if it was just forged. Oh, this is expensive looking armor. This shit looks like it was, hot, hot stuff in its day.
What kind of armor is it?
This is the armor of a knight, something none of you would be familiar with at all coming from the north. This is armor worn by those far to the south.
Well, can we search his body for anything of value?
What about the sword?
And the armor.
Both completely, rust and wear and tear free, corrosion free. They are as brilliant and shiny new as if they had just been forged, and the sword looks as sharp as a razor blade and as if it had just been recently honed and whetstones yet again.
Genevieve suspects it's magical.
And we're going to have to warm his body up to get the armor off him.
Yeah, I see you've taken frozen metal off a corpse before.
Once or twice, Father.
I don't like this. That corpse is too perfectly placed. Might be
Perfectly
an
placed?
enemy nearby.
What do you mean?
Like, somehow someone wanted it to be found. Or something.
I don't know, it's kind of off in the trees a little. But anyway, Jalivi, you cast Detect Magic and are instantly blinded by the radiant aura of magic coming off of the sword. The armor's magic too.
Yep, my suspicions were right. It's magical. If you take it, be cautious.
I'll make sure not to stab myself in the foot.
So does Ulf take it?
Touch it.
On the
Touch it.
stops. Yep.
Touch it.
Touching it with gloves. I'm not touching you. I'm touching it with gloves.
All right.
As you touch the sword, trying to pry the hilt from the cold, dead hands of the knight, he rises from the ground. Arise from your grave! And as he does so, he says, Defiler, unholy one, you have breathed your last. And he raises his magical sword above his head, and a brilliant, blinding light shines forth from the blade, and we end our session because this fight is going to take longer than we have left, and I hate to pause in the middle of a fight. So we are going to go ahead and end here and pick up next session with the battle against the frozen paladin who is protecting his holy sword from your unclean hands. Thank you everyone for playing, and as always, good gaming.